Yo, I just wanted to say, I already recorded the whole video, but I just now thought of saying, why does this matter? Long story short, if there were rules to the life that you were living, and you did not know that there were rules to the life that you were living, and you broke these rules, life will keep punishing you, just as if you were breaking a law, and the cops would punish you. Things are usually not that complicated. People love to assume that the more steps there are or is to something, the more true it is, and that you can never achieve greatness with simplicity. So let's try and keep this short, sweet, simple, and summarized. The human connection to everything. The sun is God. It's all consciousness. It's light, and light is information. Light is sent down from the sun as code, and things on the ground receive this sunlight, godly information of code, and it converts it into whatever the thing is. If it's a seed, it's going to receive the light from the sun, and it's going to combine, and then water is going to be mixed into this little bunch, and it's going to grow, and that is not coincidence, it is not random chance, it is conscious creation, just like everything on this world. There's a purpose for every single thing. Nothing is pointless, and nothing is separated from the one whole. If God was the sun, if you imagine like a hologram or a simulation or a video game, if you were looking at a computer screen, there's a glow coming off the screen. And that glow, if you've ever heard of or seen the human aura, is the exact same thing. We are just sunlight condensed into the physical form, and we are actually glowing, and that's the aura you can see in people. You can see an aura in anything. Doesn't matter if it's living or not, because it's all sunlight, which is information from God. So, if the sun is God, then light is the information from God. Plant life, photosynthesis, they go through the process of converting light into oxygen, which is incredible if you think about it. It's literally converting information from the sun or information from God, and it's changing that light energy into oxygen, because energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred from one form into another. And so when plants convert this sunlight into oxygen through photosynthesis, that is energy being transformed. Human beings, our brains, magically enough, coincidentally enough, we just happen to use oxygen to perform our own form of photosynthesis, which is cellular respiration. So plants convert sunlight into oxygen, and human beings convert oxygen into carbon dioxide. And what do you know? Plants need carbon dioxide to live. Adding more on top of that, plants, with this sunlight, they condense non-physical light into physical light. And so if you just imagine fruits and vegetables as condensed sunlight, what that literally means is it's a physical form of genetic code from the sun. It's literally sunlight, God, information. When we eat fruits and vegetables, we are literally eating a condensed form of information from the sun. When we eat animal life, we are eating recycled information from the sun. It's just one more step down the chain. Plants, and then animal, and then human, and then we eat the animal to get the nutrients that the animal got from the plants. But if we just skip the animal, we just eat plants, we get the most direct form of sunlight. So literally wisdom passed down from the sun, and we get to eat that in fruits, we eat it in vegetables, we eat the recycled form of that in animals, we breathe it in oxygen, we drink it in water. If sunlight is hitting water and then you drink the water, you're actually drinking a enhanced form of water, because the particles within the water have absorbed the sunlight, and so you get just a little bit more oomph. If you put your bare feet on the ground, you do what's called grounding or earthing, and what that basically is is the electricity in your body, and the electrons in the earth. The earth is packed with electrons. There's an abundance, like literally too many. And since there are so many electrons within the earth, it is literally spewing them out from the floor. And when you put your bare feet on the ground, they act as prongs, and it's basically like you're plugging yourself into the earth, and the energy can flow from below into your body. And as you inhale the godly energy or the sunlight or just powers from above, they fall into you like a waterfall. So it's energy above and energy below. As above, so below. As within, so without. Everything is cause and effect. What happens inside of us as human beings is reflected to us as an effect outside of us as human beings. So the inner world is the cause, outer world is the effect. Nothing man-made has ever been created before it was first a thought. Everything that you see outside of you that is man-made was first a thought in somebody's mind. We were created in the image of God as creators, because God himself is a creator, or God itself. I don't like saying him. If God was the sun literally is creating everything. If there was no sunlight, there would be no thing. It would be darkness, which would be the lack of light. And if light is information, darkness would be the lack of information. So it would just be nothing. It would just be black. And so God, being the creator of all that is, created us as human beings, or we created ourselves. We divided ourselves, chose to forget that we were God for the purpose of re-becoming God, re-becoming conscious, and we reflect off each other all day, every day. The conversation that I'm having with my phone right now, you are absorbing my light. I am shining my light. I'm projecting myself as the sun would, shining its light, projecting my information, and you are absorbing it. You get my point. We reflect light off each other. We reflect thoughts and ideas off each other, just like the sun would reflect its light off a mirror and shine it back. We, being energy, everything being energy, it's all just one conscious thought. We're like a video game. We're all living in the same dream, just from different human perspectives. We assume that we are separate as HueMan beings. HueMan being various hues of man. We are varying shades of brown. And as harsh as this sounds, white people are literally somewhat genetically retarded, because white is technically just a lack of color, and brown is a combination of all color. And since everything is energy, frequency, vibration, brown is one of the highest frequencies that there is. Brown is a combination of all frequencies that there is. So brown or black people are technically and literally genetically superior in terms of natural or natural life. What that means is when the sun shines its light down upon a white person, we get burnt because our skin is not receptive. It's not willing to accept the light, and it just bounces it back. Like if you shine a flashlight at a white paper and you just want to squint so hard, it's because the white just reflects straight back to you. Brown or black, on the other hand, absorbs the light. You shine your light at a brown or a black sheet of paper, and chances are you're not going to squint just because it's being absorbed. So if you take that and you apply it to skin color, not only do white people reflect sunlight, we reflect the code from the sunlight. So brown people, on the other hand, they absorb the sunlight, which in turn means that they are absorbing the information or the code from the sunlight. Melanin. There are different types of melanin. And the more that you have, the more sunlight you can absorb. Not only that, with your feet on the ground, with the energy flowing in from below you, it makes sunlight easier to be absorbed. Got stutter enough right there. Another way of thinking about things is within the human body, we have red blood cells and we have white blood cells. We also have viruses and tumors and cancerous cells. But the red blood cells, very simply put, what their job is technically and literally to somewhat brainlessly just transport oxygen throughout the body. There's iron in our blood, and iron only ever comes from a supernova explosion. Just a little fun fact. But red blood cells, they don't really question it. They don't think about things. They just do their job. And so, if you think about red-celled human being, would technically be a person who is not woke, or a person who basically mindlessly wakes up in the morning, reads the newspaper, accepts it as the truth, goes to work because it thinks, or they think, this is what I'm meant for, this is life. Life is grab this oxygen and go to work. Don't think about it, don't ask very many questions. We also have white blood cells within our body. And what these white cells do is they purposely ask questions. They reflect off of one another, and when there is a problem that it cannot take care of on its own, it's smart enough to literally ask for help. The white cells, they work together, and what they do is they actually fight viruses or cancerous cells or tumors within the body. And so, if you have MS, the cells in your body, they send the wrong signal to each other. So they're trying to ask for help, but the code itself is wrong. And so they're just getting a lot of assistance in doing the job wrong. But when your cells are healthy, they communicate correctly. And when they ask for help with a group of white blood cells, they are able to take down a virus or a cancerous cell. So the red cells in the body, they just transport oxygen throughout the blood. They don't ask questions, they just do. White cells in the body, they find problems, and then they solve these problems by asking questions or asking for help, or by being conscious enough in the first place to realize that there is a problem. And the exact same thing exists on Earth in the macro. There's micro within, and then macro without. And then if you get even bigger than that, you look at the Earth. The Earth is one cell. Then you zoom out again. Now you see the Milky Way galaxy, and that is one cell. You zoom out again, and now you see this larger galaxy, and that's one cell. And you just keep zooming out, and then it just shrinks into one thing. And then you can do the same exact thing. You zoom in, you're one person. You zoom into your body, you're actually made up of trillions of cells. You zoom in on one cell, and it's actually made of electrons and protons and neutrons. Point is, everything is micro, macro. It's a life of mirrors, reflections, metaphors, symbolism. And then there are viruses and cancerous cells within the body, and they're the same thing on the outside in human form as well. There are people that they just live to be poisonous. They're just negative entities of people, keyboard warriors. Not because they think it's the right thing to do, but just because it's the best that they can do. That's what they're programmed with, just like the cell within your body. There are also tumors within the body, and if you zoom out and you apply a tumor to Earth, this would be the opposite of a tumor. New York, on the other hand, with smog and pollution and concrete and sewers running through the city lines, that's a tumor on the face of the Earth. There are lungs within your body. There are trees on the Earth. They inhale carbon dioxide, exhale oxygen. We inhale oxygen, exhale carbon dioxide. It's a mirror. The trees have roots going into the Earth, and we as human beings, we put our feet down, and our energy roots into the Earth. You put your root chakra down here, you meditate with your ass to grass, and you ground yourself. There's no coincidence. Human beings have a purpose here, and we are connected to everything because we are everything. Consciousness is everything. When you shut your eyes, you can't see your body. I'm gone right now, but I'm conscious enough to know that I am still here. If my body goes to sleep, my mind goes to the dream state, my body is still here breathing and living on its own. My body doesn't need my thoughts to live. It's the exact same when you die. When you die, your body stops living, but your consciousness starts dreaming. It's just like when you go to sleep. Reincarnation happens every night, or technically every morning. Every time you wake up from a nap or a night of rest, you are reincarnating. Re, again, into, carne, meat. Re, into, meat. Reincarnation is real. That'd be a weird ending right there. I am everything and myself. I am myself. If you literally consider yourself, myself, as M-Y-C-E-L-L-F, myself, you are just a cell within this larger organism. You are a cell made up of cells. The earth is a cell made up of cells. And we are all just cell phones, transmitting, sending, receiving signals, bouncing ideas off each other, growing, becoming more conscious, which is all that we are. We are just sunlight, God info, becoming more full of that sunlight, that godly info. So there we have it. For the most part, I think I summed things up. There are red cells, white cells. We're connected to everything. It's all just sunlight. If you eat straight from the source, you get the best code from the source. If you live within the tropics of Cancer and Capricorn, you get the purest form of sunlight. Again, if you're a white person such as myself, you're probably going to get burnt, especially if you eat like shit, because the code within your body is further from the code within the sun. And when you get sunburnt, it's literally the toxins within trying to purge throughout your skin. And yeah, just try to think of life like a video game. I'll bring it back to that for the end of the video. If life was a game, the best thing you could do is to realize in the first place that you are living in a game. If you were unaware the entire time that there were rules to the life you were living, and you kept breaking these rules or the universal laws, chances are you're gonna get punished. Just like if you run a red light, the cop is gonna see you and pull you over. If you're running metaphorical red lights throughout life, if you're just doing things wrong or not optimally, life is going to punish you just because you are unaware. So if you're living in a video game and you are the main character, you are the projector, you are seeing the game with your eyeballs, you're creating the game with your mind, you're the director, you're the projector, you're the actor, you're the audience, you are everybody, you are everything, you are the main character of this video game, and all you have to do is know that you are playing. There are rules to it, and when you follow the rules, life will present presents to you in presence. Remain present in presence and do the best you can do. Human things, some connections that human beings have to this physical realm of earth we are living in. As above, so below, as within, so without, macro, micro, heaven, hell. It's all perspective. It's based off where you choose to be living within your own mind. Because everything is consciousness, sunlight. It's all we are. Peace!